South Korea, the peninsula that has put itself on the map. The peninsula with 3 impressive and unique coastlines, the east, the south and the west. 2,000 kilometers that I will explore by bike. And I will take you and show you a Korea that you may have never seen before. My journey starts in Goseong, the north of Gangwon-do province. And cycling towards the south, the realization immediately strikes again that Korea has still not signed a peace with North Korea. The strong presence of barbed wire and watchtowers remind me of this. But most tourist sites also have something to do with North Korea. Kim Il-sung's old vacation home, the hotel where Kim Jong-un's sister stayed during the Winter Games, or a North Korean submarine that has been captured.
It's very small. Oof.
But my favorite is the former North Korean refugee camp, Abaimao in Sokcho, where you can enjoy North Korean food.
가자미 식혜. 이것도 북한 음식.
Fortunately, not everything is reminiscent of North Korea, because beyond Sokcho you will find the historic Buddhist temple Naksansa from the year 671. Naksansa is a true contrast to the barbed wire and watchtowers. It has a great view over the East Sea and even over the mountainous landscape of Gangwon-do with Mount Soroksan in the background, a good place to sniff some history. Cycling further south, I arrive in the provincial capital of Gangnam, with beautiful sandy beaches. Sometimes you forget that Korea has such beautiful beaches, and not only in Gangnam, but along the entire east coast in all shapes and sizes. It makes it hard not to constantly stop cycling for a dive.
By the way, Gangnam is the city of pine trees. Why would that be? I don't know.
Past Gangnam, I come across a train station, Cheongdongjin. The station is on the Guinness World Records list as the closest train station to the beach in the world. It's almost like a movie set. And yes, I love Guinness World Records thingies. The first kilometers and days have flown by. Not a beach has slipped my eyes. And before I cycle into the new province of Gyeongsang, I take a quick look at the remarkable park Haesindang. A park that cannot be ignored when you cycle past. And hopefully it will not be my last memory of Gangwon province. From Gangwon-do to the province of North Gyeongsang. It's like cycling into another world. At first sight, a lot less touristy. And everything feels a bit more remote. Small old villages with an abandoned house here and there, but also this gem, an altar for the spirits. It's a glimpse of old Korea, which you can really enjoy at times.
Look at the rooftop. Wow.
What I also enjoy is a good night's sleep. So I skip a night in a tent to spend the night in a real old Korean hanok. This is Gashiri traditional village. And according to the house owner, I was the first foreigner to stay with him. It can't get more Korean than this. Unfortunately, there aren't many villages like this one anymore.
I've been to many traditional towns in Korea, but this one, wow, it's amazing.
The further south I come, the more industrial it gets. I cycle through large cities such as Pohang and Ulsan, where companies such as POSCO and Hyundai determine the city view. Strangely enough, it is a pleasant change in the landscape, because it has a lot of character.
Pohang City, a very big industrial city, and this, as you can see, this whole factory stretching from left to right on the horizon.
But Pohang is also the city of sunrises. So I decide to get up early to experience this with my own eyes. At home we got the hand in the water. Yes, this sunrise is beautiful, but honestly, the entire east coast is beautiful for sunrises. Past Pohang, I pass Gyeongju, the ancient capital of the Shilla dynasty, where you have the only underwater tomb in the world. Cool, right? And past Gyeongju, I cycle into Ulsan, where you have beautiful rock formations and crazy bridge like this one.
I'm a bit afraid of heights, but this is pretty cool. The bridge is moving to the left, right, it's so windy, you probably cannot hear me.
After 2 weeks, I've cycled the entire east coast, and I reached the city of Busan, the second largest city in Korea. Also the starting point for the south coast. Busan is a city where you can easily entertain yourself for days, but not now. The unknown South Coast awaits. Before we continue, I would like to share a few words about the sponsor of today's video, Artlist. Artlist is the place where I find the perfect music and sound effects for all my videos. I've been using them for over 3 years now and I never fail to find the right songs. You can search by these categories, such as mood or genre, and when you find a song that you like, you click here to download it directly to your computer and you're good to go. And once you download a song with a subscription, it's licensed to use forever. So, if you like Artlist and you want to subscribe, then please subscribe via the link in the description down below and get 2 months for free. 2 months. Thank you, Artlist. And now let's get back to the South Coast. I am positively surprised by the beauty of the South. The roads zigzag through the rugged medium-sized mountains, making cycling a pleasure. And unlike the East, where you look out at nothing but the sea, here you look at the horizon of islands, a spectacular sight. It is this emerald green sea where the great Admiral Yi Sun-shin won the naval battle against the Japanese invaders in 1592. He did that at the coastal city of Dongyong. In this city, I briefly jumped from the two-wheeler to the four-wheeler, luge, or luji, as they say here in Korea. A fun activity and a desirable distraction from cycling. The next destination is one of the bigger islands of Name, where you can only get via several bridges. But on the other side awaits me a real German village.
That's it, I made it to the German town.
Little Germany in Korea, where you can try German beer and German sausage between the German-looking houses. The village was built for retired Korean labor immigrants who worked in German mines or hospitals in the 70s and 80s and wanted to return to Korea.
I am still in Name. It's rainy. It's a lot colder than before. It's around 22 degrees. Before it was 36, 38 degrees. It's windy. The perfect weather to keep going, to make distance. Let's go!
From Name I cycle further to the Yeosu Peninsula, where I have the ocean on my right side for the first time. By chance I found a small remote village on Nongdo Island, which, with all its features, couldn't be more Korean than this. The prams for the elderly, the old tree, and the empty houses of deceased residents, just to name a few features. Super nice to get lost here, because you won't find this in Seoul. I carefully cross going towards the end of the South Coast. But the South Coast is of course not complete without hopping several islands.
Let's go on a ferry adventure.
Islands with special names. For example, you have the island Midweek and the island Birthday.
I'm now going to the next island, which is called Sengildo. Birthday Island. Birthday Island.
The facilities and roads are fantastic, against my own expectations, given the fact that the islands are small and remote. Because of all the islands and peninsulas, the South Coast was a difficult job, but the end is in sight. The South Coast ends at Tangkut, the southernmost tip of Korea.
So this is where the land begins, or the land ends, whatever you want, whatever you prefer, but it's beautiful.
And just like Busan, the beginning of the new coastline, the West Coast. For me, the West Coast starts in the province of Jeollanam-do, and here the mountainous landscape seems to be a thing of the past, which fortunately makes cycling a lot easier. This area from above is breathtaking. The pattern of the rice fields with the reflection of the clouds makes for a beautiful image, and I immediately fall into nothing with my bike. Sometimes you will find large, striking stones scattered over this landscape. Often these are the dolmen, either a tomb from the Neolithic period or Korean Bronze Age. As cultural heritage, very special indeed.
Super cool, because I never visit the dolmen stone site in Korea, and Korea is a place where they have over 35,000 of these things. I think that accounts for 40% of all the dolmens in the world.
The first port city I cycle through is Mokpo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mokpo City.
A city that is characterized by the striking architecture in the old city center, Japanese architecture. The remains from the time of the Japanese occupation. This is unique because except in Gunsan, which I later cycle through, you will find this almost nowhere in Korea. Further north I am forced to cycle more inland because of the difficult roads on the coast. But this does take me to the Great Plains of Gimje. Agriculture fields so many and so big that you can see the horizon. Korea's largest agricultural production of rice and barley takes place here. And did you know that much of this land has been reclaimed from the water?
I get complete Netherlands vibes from this area. Flat, plain lands, no mountains in the backdrop. And on top of that, most of these lands are reclaimed from the sea.
Just after Gimje you have the port city of Kunsan, which, like Mokpo, is reminiscent of the Japanese occupation. It is also the last city in the province of Jeollabuk-do. So I'm now ready to cycle into Chungcheong province. It is in this province that the character of the west coast becomes clear. The sea has a strong tide, very strong, so there's a lot of mud everywhere, lots of mud.
Mud, mud, mud.
It is a true contrast to both the east and south coasts. Sometimes you can even walk to an island with low tide, or in my case, cycle. I take the ferry to Taeangun, from where you can find beautiful beaches, wide and long sandy beaches where there are hardly any people to be seen. Whatever the reason, I love those big empty beaches. The further I cycle to the north, the more I am confronted with sea dikes, long imposing dike roads with a clear function. It's a bit different from all the typical mountain roads I've seen so far, but it has its own beauty. A scene was even filmed for Squid Games on this road. Slowly, I cycle towards the metropolis of Seoul, Gyeonggi-do. The journey is almost coming to an end, and I have really enjoyed all the coastal landscapes, the diversity, nature, you name it. But in the end, it's the people who leave the strongest impression, and I have met the sweetest, open-hearted and helpful people. Wherever I went, there was always someone willing to help me or simply to have a chat. Thanks to these people, the trip and my impression of Korea is unforgettable. It therefore feels good to be back in the metropolis. Via the million city of Incheon, I cycle home where the most important person is waiting for me. After 60 days and 2,000 kilometers, it is nice to take my wife in my arms again.
Bye! Congratulations! 어떡해.
안녕.
Thanks for watching, and thanks Artlist for sponsoring this video. And of course, thank you to all the members of this channel. Houdoe.